Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mark Kester at the Players NIL. Welcome to my podcast. Today I have a special guest, Ayden Syal, comes to us from MOGL, a name, image, and likeness marketplace leader, one of the fastest growing companies in the space and one of the young entrepreneurs in this world. It gets me so excited. Ayden, welcome to the podcast.
Mark, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Have a strong appreciation for everything that you're building at the Players NIL, and it's an honor to be here.
That's great, Ayden. You know, we're similarly aligned in terms of education, and we really are focused on educating student athletes, not just in name, image, and likeness, but life skills. It appears to me that your company's focused on educating student athletes about opportunities and giving them life skills beyond sports. And I think that's why we're similarly aligned. So the podcast is about the history of our business, the history of our lives, and how we've used sports to better our lives and consequently better the lives of the people around us. And I think you exemplify that. So tell us a little bit about your interest in sports and where it began.
Yeah, so from an early age, Mark, obviously grew up playing and watching sports. I was raised in northern New Jersey, so grew up a Giants, Rangers, Yankees fan. The first college football game I ever watched, I believe it was in 2005, it's Brady Quinn versus USC Trojans. And from that day on, I became a Notre Dame football fan. It eventually became a dream school for me to attend. And I had, the opportunity and the honor to attend Notre Dame and graduate from Notre Dame, which has really helped to serve as a major foundation for a lot of the success that I've had both personally and professionally in my career and for MOGL itself. Growing up, played basketball and played soccer primarily, did everything, right? Swimming, lacrosse, tried everything. But basketball and soccer were my biggest sports growing up. Unfortunately, nobody told me that I'd be 5'7" by the time I stopped growing. Had I known that, I probably wouldn't have played basketball. I probably would have looked into hockey or, doubled down on soccer. But for me and, for my co-founder as well, Brandon, who played quarterback at Notre Dame, athletics were a major part of our upbringing. I played 3 sports for 3 seasons every year, or 4 seasons every year. And what we're on a mission here at MOGL to do is not only help athletes to monetize their brand in a way that's safe, secure, and compliant, but we really want to make an impact in the local community. So we've fostered a partnership with an organization called Every Kid Sports to ensure that we're directly promoting and fostering the accessibility of local youth athletic programming in every deal that we do. So that goes back to, our initial upbringing, obviously Brandon's ability to excel from an athletics perspective and on the field. But everything we do at MOGL is about educating, supporting, and empowering athletes.
Give me the scouting report on your athletic career. What would it say?
I'd probably say really talented rec soccer player. Actually, my high school randomly, they won the national championship when I was a freshman there in soccer. So didn't have the opportunity to play there. Basketball, we already covered that, too short. I was a true white shooting guard, could shoot the 3. But my sports career in purpose really ended at the end of middle school. Played high school throughout like AAU, things like that, but, not at the high school level. I went to a school called Seton Hall Prep. They excel in most sports. But yeah, great teammate, feverish competitor, too short.
Hey, I love it. There's an old saying, the older we get, the better we were. Don't forget it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you find this interest in sports, even as a participant. And, again, this is not about winning gold medals or world championships or, state championships even. It's about using athletics to better your life. So you found a passion. You're driven to go to Notre Dame, one of the top academic schools in the world, by the way. And you go to Notre Dame and you're taking classes, you're meeting athletes, you're going as a fan, you're enjoying campus life. Just share with us some of the lessons you learned. Maybe there was a mentor, a professor, someone in business, and an internship. Give us a little journey through your college career on some of the things that you think back today and you say, boy, that was really valuable.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, my experience at Notre Dame, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think the really unique thing that Notre Dame offers more than any other school and in a differentiated way versus other schools as well is that it's both uniquely an academic and athletic powerhouse, but it's not at the size of like a major state school like an Ohio State, right, or University of Florida, et cetera. So it really gives you the unique ability to not only interact closely with the athletes, but get a strong perspective into what a combination of athletics and academics at the highest level looks like. So for me personally, right, so I studied business. I was a management consulting and sociology double major. So I was at the Mendoza College of Business. My father works in finance. I was surrounded by banking, HR, trading throughout my life. Always figured that that would be the route that I went throughout my Mendoza course of studies, right? Finance, accounting, management consulting, business IT. It was always about working in finance. But one of the things that Notre Dame really taught me, and specifically shout out to my favorite professor at Notre Dame, Professor Wendy Angst, from business problem solving and innovation and design were the two courses that I took with her, was that there are numerous applications to business and numerous different ways to apply your incredible talents and abilities across a variety of different ways, but to truly make a difference in the lives of others, right? And Notre Dame saying at the time, or Mendoza saying at the time, and I'm not sure if it still is what essentially like, what can business do for the world or something like that? Basically, like Notre Dame is on a mission to obviously learn the pillars of business and excel at the top level of our ability, but to do it in a way that benefits the lives of others around them. And so my personal background, right? So I graduated from Notre Dame. I went to work on it at Morgan Stanley. One of the best experiences of my life. I'm still very close with a lot of mentors, colleagues, friends at Morgan Stanley. Eventually went and worked in private equity at a place called Lexington Partners. But the thing is, for me, is I wasn't waking up passionate about what I was doing. At the end of the day, quarterly reports, investment analysis, looking into LP's performance, things like that, running numbers, modeling spreadsheets, that wasn't waking me up every day. And I recognized an opportunity back in October of 2019 to truly make a difference in the lives of others through a lens that I was extremely passionate about, which is sports and athletics. Recognized that businesses and brands would need the ability to connect with these incredible athlete influencers at scale to help build awareness for their products and services. And then athletes don't have the time, the money, the resources, or the network in most cases to source these deals at scale. At the time, California Governor Gavin Newsom put protocols in place that would allow California athletes the ability to monetize their NIL starting in 2023. And that's when the business plan for MOGL was written.
Wow. Incredible. What a journey. And I'm sure all those lessons that you learned in college and your experiences at Morgan Stanley are paying off now at MOGL. So you've told us a little bit about MOGL and the business model. Tell me about the type of people that you hire. Who are the people that you want to be associated with?
Absolutely. The number one thing that we look for at MOGL is people that are truly passionate about empowering student athletes. The majority of our team is former collegiate athletes, having competed at schools like Ohio State, Notre Dame, Stanford, Marist College. So it stretches the gamut with regards to the level and the experience that they've had. But we're really focused on empowering or hiring people who are focused on empowering athletes and recognize the incredible power that this type of marketing provides to businesses and brands, both at the local scale and at the national scale. On the team, sorry.
No, I was going to say, so tell me about those characteristics that you look at. I understand the athletic component, competitiveness, team stuff, but from a personality standpoint, what is it that you're trying to find out during the interview process that you think works for your business model?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the number one thing more than anything else are really two things that kind of go hand in hand, and it derives a lot from the characteristics and development traits that you get from youth athletics and youth sports. But we're looking for team players, right? We're a startup. We're incredibly lean, as anyone who else is in the space or anyone else who has founded their own company or has worked in a startup knows. At a startup, it's so cliche to say, but you wear so many hats, you run incredibly lean, and you need people that you want in the trenches with you. So we're looking for people that are team players and are accountable. People that know that that I know when our backs are against the wall, that they've got my back and they're going to get the job done to the best of their ability. Yeah. So for us as a team, right, we've hired some exceptional talent, right? You've obviously got myself and Brandon's my co-founder. He played quarterback at Notre Dame and the University of Central Florida. He's our chief athletic officer. He gives us the unique ability to empathize with that collegiate athletic experience. And he's someone that athletes trust. But also on the team, we've got really, really talented and really experienced members such as Elliot Charles, our newest addition, former Division I athletic director at Chicago State, former associate AD at Clemson, and also previously having held senior roles at Alabama, USF, and Florida A&M. Everything that we do is truly to empower and support our athletes. The platform we've built has been built to provide them the best workflow, the best experience, and to ensure that they're educated and informed.
That's awesome. I have this saying that, the television show Amazing Race. And when I'm looking at potential partnerships or potentially hiring someone, I think to myself, would I take them on that show? Would I want, when the chips are down, are they going to run away or are they going to run with me? Right. And so it sounds like you've identified some of those characteristics. All right, this is the end of it. So, this is your chance to play Godfather, even though you're a young soul. So, let's talk to Ayden, age 15, 16, sophomore in high school, interested in athletics, interested in sports, but probably athletics is not the future. Sports may be. What advice would you give him or her at that age about chasing their dream and trying to find a career in athletics?
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the most rewarding parts about this whole business. Obviously, at its core, what we're doing is we're helping athletes and businesses, but we're also now looked at as thought leaders to speak to youth athletes at the high school level, right? Just earlier this week, Brandon and myself spoke to a really high-performing performance academy that hosts football camps about how they can best prepare for name, image, and likeness and what some best practices that they can put in place are. Number one, more than anything else that I would say to kids who are probably going to compete at the next level, collegiately, wherever that may be, is be yourself. Recognize that your personality and your God-given traits and abilities are uniquely valuable to someone, whether that be Nike or whether that be the local pizza joint, but really take the time to explore yourself, understand where your passions lie, understand what good you can bring to the world, and then use that to build your brand. Now, I'm not just talking about the cliche, like social media, build your Instagram presence, have good content. That's important. But do things on a daily basis, whether it's getting involved in the community or the way you carry yourself in school, the way you treat others around you, the way you treat your family. Build your personal brand so that by the time it comes where, even in some states, right, 14 or 15 states right now at the high school level, you can monetize your NIL. But by the time it comes that you're competing at the next level, you have a good understanding of what your value add is and also who you want to work with and who you want to align that brand with. Because unfortunately, it's a brand new landscape. Education is a major gap that exists in the landscape in general. And we've seen athletes get taken advantage of, but also align themselves to brands that aren't worth the quick buck, right? And on the flip side, brands oftentimes aren't aligning with athletes who really embody their mission.
Right.
So we're focused on helping athletes to identify that.
Wow. Awesome advice. And I agree with it completely. And that's what the Players NIL is all about, is empowering athletes with information, and education is key. You're a proud Notre Dame alum, and they should be proud of you. You're the spiritual leader of MOGL. That's obvious. You're passionate about your business. I'm sure you're going to be tremendously successful. I wish you luck. I'd love to work with you on this journey and support student athletes. And I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Mark, it's a privilege. Excited about what you guys are building at the Players NIL. I'm looking forward to collaborating in the future.
Awesome. Thank you.